Hello and welcome along to Thought for the Day. Our topic this week is forgiveness. There's a lot of things in life that I'm not very good at. In fact, I'm pretty hopeless at most things. But one thing I'm good at is saying sorry because I seem to have to ask for forgiveness an awful lot. And I suppose one place which one relationship where I find myself often having to say sorry is in my marriage. And it's certainly something. Sorry is a word that Leslie seems to find a bit harder to say than I do, but nonetheless, I know when she's sorry. But in the same way, I kind of know when also I find myself in situations where I'm often having to say sorry for things that I've done wrong. But even then, sometimes I'm not really sure if I'm in that wrong. Maybe I find myself in our relationship at times. I'm just saying sorry just to make the peace, even although I don't think I've done anything that warrants me being forgiven in the first place. Now, when Liz watches this, well, she probably won't watch it because I'm doing this today. But if she was to watch it, or if one of you were to tell her this, I'll be in trouble. But sometimes we just say we're sorry even because we think that's what we have to say, just to try and move on. And even if we think we haven't done anything that warrants being sorry in the first place. And Jesus talked about that not just in our relationships with each other, but in our relationships with God. Sometimes in our relationship with God, we just tell God, we talk about forgiveness whenever we really don't think we've done anything wrong in the first place. Now, in Luke's Gospel, there's a story that took place when a woman came into a house where Jesus was eating. This woman was described as a sinful woman. It probably means she was a prostitute. And she began to wash Jesus' feet using her tears and using her hair. What a dramatic scene that is. And the religious people in the house did not like what was going on here. They didn't like Jesus having his feet being washed by this prostitute. So this is what Jesus then said in response. Jesus answered him, this is Simon, who was the Pharisee whose house it happened in. Jesus answered him, Simon, I have something to tell you. Tell me, teacher, he said. Two people owed money to a certain money lender. One owed him 500 denarii and the other 50. Neither of them had the money to pay him back, so he forgave the debts of both. Now, which of them will love him more? Simon replied, I suppose the one who had the bigger debt forgiven. You've judged correctly, Jesus said. Then he turned toward the woman and said to Simon, Do you see this woman? I came into your house, and you did not give me any water for my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You did not give me a kiss, but this woman from the time I entered has not stopped kissing my feet. You did not put oil on my head, but she has poured perfume on my feet. Therefore, I tell you, her many sins have been forgiven, as her great love has shown. Whoever has been forgiven little loves little. And what Jesus is reminding us in that passage is this. If we don't think that we have had much to be forgiven about, then we're not going to have a lot of love towards God. But if we realize just how much God has forgiven us, then we are going to love God greatly. And I think that's what the problem many of us have today in our relationship with God. We don't actually realize how much God has forgiven us. We don't realize that actually you and I, that even though we may not have committed many of the great big horrendous sins that you would hear on the news at 6 o'clock in the evening, Nonetheless, the sins we have committed were sins that were setting us straight to hell. But because of God's great love for us, He's forgiven our sins through Jesus Christ on the cross, completely forgiven our sins. So that now, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, because of what Jesus has done, you stand forgiven. And is that not a great reason to love God greatly today? Thank you for joining me this morning, and have a good day.